Welcome to the Daily History Podcast, where each episode we unfurl a page of the past to bring it vividly to life. Today, we cast our gaze back to the era of seafaring explorers and fierce warriors, the Viking Age. Join us as we embark on a historical voyage through time, unearthing the legacy of these legendary Norse folk. Immerse yourself in the mists of the past as we journey to an era marked by the clash of swords and the allure of uncharted waters. The Viking Age, a period of transformative expansion and cultural evolution, dawned in the late 8th century. Our voyage through time begins in the year 793 at the sudden and violent raid on the monastery at Lindisfarne, an event often heralded as the onset of this age of wanderers. The Norsemen, emerging from the fjords of what are now Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, embarked on a series of raids, explorations, and settlements that stretched across 4 centuries, culminating around the early 11th century. The year 1066, with the Battle of Stamford Bridge, where the last great Viking king, Harald Hardrada, fell, symbolically closes this chapter of history. But the Viking Age was much more than just raids and conquests. Gaze upon the iconic imagery of horned helmets, massive longships, and fierce warriors that popular culture has etched onto the tapestry of the Viking legend. As we delve deeper into their world, we will unveil the truths that lie beneath this common imagery, challenging the myths and bringing to light the vibrant society that thrived during this epoch. Stay with us as the rich saga of the Norse unfolds, revealing the enduring impact these remarkable people made on the history we share. Venturing into the heart of Norse society, we find a rich tapestry of communal structures and roles that governed the daily life of these northern peoples. The society was predominantly agrarian, with a strong focus on farming and fishing that provided sustenance to their communities. Bonds of kinship and loyalty formed the backbone of their social fabric, where families connected through blood and marriage enjoyed a shared responsibility for each other's well-being. Hierarchy within this societal arrangement was clear, with a chieftain or jarl at the apex, embodying both political and religious authority. Beneath them were the free landowning farmers known as carls, who formed the bulk of the populace and were valued for their ability to bear arms and contribute to communal defense. At the lower end of this structure, thralls, essentially slaves, carried out the menial tasks, often as a result of debt or as prisoners of war. Their beliefs and culture were inextricably linked to the Norse pantheon, with gods like Odin, the Allfather, Thor, the god of thunder and warriors, and Freya, the goddess of fertility and love, holding sway over their spiritual lives. High festivals, such as Yule at the winter solstice, were occasions for gathering, feasting, and sacrifice to these deities. Runes, not just a writing system but also imbued with mystical significance, further colored their cultural practices. With a focus on honor and reputation, the Norse lifestyle was grounded in a code of conduct that emphasized bravery, loyalty, and generosity, principles that would earn one respect in life and, according to their beliefs, a place in Valhalla after death. It was within this societal framework that the concept of a Viking took root. Contrary to the modern usage of the term as a catch-all for the Norse people, Viking more specifically denoted an activity, a voyage or expedition undertaken by individuals seeking wealth and adventure beyond their homelands, whether through trading or raiding. These travelers would set out across the seas, a reflection of the society's adaptable and exploratory spirit, embarking on quests that not only expanded their territories, but also enriched their cultural footprint, influencing lands near and far. Picture the vast, open sea ahead, waves rhythmically colliding with the sturdy hulls of the Viking longships. Adorned with ornate dragon heads, their sails are billowed by the winds that guide these intrepid adventurers towards the unknown. For the Vikings, the allure of exploration was driven by diverse factors: overpopulation and the scarcity of arable land in their home territories, the promise of wealth from undiscovered treasures, and the prestige won through successful expeditions. Among the plethora of courageous Norse mariners stands a figure of legendary repute, Leif Erikson. Known for his indomitable spirit and seafaring skills, Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red, set sail from Greenland around the year 1000 AD. His voyage not only signified Norse capabilities in navigation, but also marked the European discovery of North America, predating Columbus by centuries. According to the sagas, Leif reached a land he called Vinland due to the wild grapes he found there, which many historians theorize to be present-day Newfoundland. This drive extended beyond mere exploration. It was about survival and prosperity. Venturing out from their homelands in modern-day Scandinavia, Vikings sought new routes for trade, raiding, and colonization. They sailed west to unforgiving destinations like Greenland, and even further to the wooded coastlines of North America, harsh lands that demanded the utmost resilience. In these pursuits, they transformed from mere explorers to founders of settlements, leaving behind a legacy that would echo through the annals of history. Vikings are often visualized as mere marauders, spine-chilling warriors descending on unsuspecting villages to wreak havoc. Yet their influence stretched far beyond these violent raids. It spanned across the continent, forging a complex legacy as both conquering invaders and enterprising settlers. Viking raids began at the end of the 8th century, with the infamous sacking of the Lindisfarne Monastery in 793, marking the onset of these sea-borne assaults. Over the next few centuries, the Vikings would unleash a series of swift, fierce raids across Europe, from the coastal towns in the British Isles to the wealthy cities of Spain, France, and even into the heart of the Byzantine Empire. The Vikings' military tactics were characterized by the element of surprise. Utilizing their superior navigation skills and fast, agile longships, they were able to strike quickly and unexpectedly, often evading defensive measures. Their strategies included the famous Viking maneuver, where they rode directly onto beaches or up rivers, quickly disembarked, completed their raids, and escaped before local forces could mobilize to respond. But these Norse voyagers were not just raiders, they were also traders and settlers. The Danelaw territory, a region in the eastern part of England, encompassed a significant presence of Scandinavians following the Treaty of Wedmore with King Alfred the Great in 878. They established bustling market towns, integrated with local populations, and left a permanent mark on the English language and law. Far to the east, in the lands that would become Russia, Vikings known as Varangians carved out trade routes that connected northern Europe to the Byzantine Empire and the Arab Caliphates. Leading figures like Rurik and the Kievan Rus Principality they founded in the 9th century demonstrate the fusion of Viking and Slavic cultures, profoundly influencing the region's history. Thus, the Vikings, in their roles as raiders and traders, crafted a dual identity that shaped economies and societies across Europe. Their settlements bore the seed of new towns and trade networks, while their raids instilled fear but also catalyzed local defenses and political consolidation. Their dynamic impact left an indelible imprint, one that extends far beyond their age and continues to captivate our imagination even today. Venturing into the realm of legend and lore, it's time to dismantle some of the most persistent myths surrounding the enigmatic Norse warriors we know as Vikings. To truly understand these fabled seafarers, we must peer beyond the scales of myth and measure our findings against the weight of historical evidence. One prevailing image casts the Vikings as horn-helmeted barbarians. This iconic headgear has been seared into the public's imagination by countless movies and television shows. However, archaeology tells us a different story. Not a single authentic Viking-era helmet has ever been uncovered with horns attached. Helmets of the period were typically conical, made to deflect blows, with some even sporting a simple nose guard. Vikings are also often depicted as a uniformly ruthless and savage horde, descending on hapless villages with a bloodthirsty fervor. While raids did occur and were indeed brutal, they represent only one facet of Viking society. Archaeological evidence and historical texts indicate that Vikings were also skilled traders, farmers, and political negotiators. For instance, the 9th century saw the founding of Dublin, a Viking trade hub that became one of the most important cities in medieval Ireland. Then there is the enigmatic runestone, a cornerstone of Viking communication, which has been the subject of substantial misinterpretation. Once thought to be mystical symbols, recent studies have shown that these stones were actually used for more practical purposes, marking territories, commemorating the dead, and telling stories of voyages and conquests. A recent discovery in Norway, dated to the early 11th century, depicts scenes from the Viking Age with inscriptions that contextualize the visual narratives carved in stone. Moving on to their maritime prowess, it was long assumed that Viking longships, with their shallow drafts, could only navigate coastal waters and rivers. However, ongoing archaeological work, including the excavation of ship burials like the ones at Oseberg and Gokstad in Norway, has revealed seafaring vessels of remarkable complexity, capable of both ocean voyages and river navigation. Breathing life into our understanding of Vikings, the field of bioarchaeology examines skeletal remains to provide insight into the everyday lives and diets of these people. Skeletal analyses have dispelled the myth of an exclusively meat-based Viking diet, demonstrating that a significant portion of their sustenance came from cereals like barley and wheat. Isotopic data from Viking bones has also informed us of their surprisingly varied diet, which would have included dairy products, fish, and vegetables. As our journey through myth and reality comes to a close, these findings serve as a potent reminder of the complex tapestry woven by our past. The image of Vikings continues to be shaped not just by popular culture, but by the tireless work of historians and archaeologists. With each new layer uncovered, the understanding of Viking life expands, painting a picture far richer and more varied than the simple stereotypes of lore. As the sun sets on our exploration of the Viking Age, let us now turn our attention to the indelible marks these Norsemen have left upon the tapestry of modern culture. The Viking legacy is not confined to the sagas of old. It is a vibrant echo that resounds in our art, literature, and collective imagination. Their influence can be witnessed across various facets of contemporary life, from the robust ship designs that still capture our awe to the names of the weekdays, like Thursday, Thor's Day, named after the hammer-wielding god of thunder. They've left us a lasting heritage. Marvel's depiction of Thor, while a fanciful Hollywood adaptation, reflects a global captivation with Norse mythology that thrives to this day. On a deeper societal level, the concepts of democracy and law that were practiced in Viking assemblies, known as the Thing, have rippled through time, informing ideas that shaped governance structures in contemporary societies. And in 2012, the discovery of a Viking encampment in Newfoundland, Canada, a site known as Lonsau Meadows, provided tangible proof of Norse presence in North America long before Columbus, solidifying the Vikings' reputation as formidable explorers. Every new artifact unearthed or rune decoded takes us a step closer to vivid truths, dispelling myths woven by time. Archaeologists continue to labor at sites across Scandinavia and beyond, piecing together the puzzle of the Viking world. With advances in technologies like DNA analysis and ground-penetrating radar, our understanding of the Vikings is poised on the brink of an era as thrilling as the one they themselves embarked upon more than a millennium ago. In upcoming podcasts, we might just find ourselves enraptured by the reveal of a newfound Viking settlement. Or perhaps we'll delve into the untold stories of the Shield Maidens, reevaluating the role of women in Viking society. The saga is far from over, and with each passing day, history's pages continue to turn, promising revelations that could challenge the truths we hold about the indomitable Norsemen. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey through the Viking Age on the Daily History Podcast. If our voyage through history has stirred the Norse spirit within you, subscribe to continue the adventure. Have your say on the next historical enigma we should tackle. Leave your suggestions in the comments below, and if your idea rallies the most likes, it might just steer our ship for a future episode. Until next time, keep the annals of history alive in your quests, and thank you for being a part of ours.